Testing, testing. Okay, guys. Hey, everyone. My name's Eric Fierro with MedicareBest.com, and I wanted to come on today to explain a little bit about something that could possibly happen. Doesn't happen very often, but I wanted to make you aware of because I think that the more that you know, the better. So if you're turning 65, so just like it says, be aware of this. If you're turning 65 and you already have group insurance, most people will say, I'm just gonna, I'll take Medicare Part A because it doesn't cost me anything. If you've paid 40 quarters into the Medicare system, there's no premium to have Part A. So most people will take Part A, especially if they're drawing Social Security checks already. Part A just automatically starts in most cases with them. It's normally when you are not drawing Social Security that you need to elect to have Part A go ahead and start. But let's just take that case that Medicare Part A has started, you're turning 65, and you have group insurance. So you decide you don't want to actually get Part B yet. And Part B normally has a premium attached to it for most people, and that premium gets drafted directly from your Social Security. Another good thing to note is that if you're not taking out Social Security yet and you elect to sign up for Part A and Part B, you'll actually have to pay for your Part B premium 3 months at a time. So you'll have to basically pay Social Security 3 months on a quarterly basis for your Part B premium. That's another good thing to note. But let's get back to what we're talking about. So when you turn 65, you have something that's called the Initial Enrollment Period, IEP. And the IEP basically gives you a window of time in which you can enroll to Medicare Part A and Part B when you're turning 65. So technically the rule says that you have up to 3 months before, the month of that you're turning 65, and up to 3 months after to enroll into Medicare Part A and Part B when you're turning 65. This is the IEP. So I just want you to kind of keep that in mind, the IEP, that it's referring to the 3 months before, the month you turn 65, and 3 months after that you turn 65, where you get to enroll into Medicare. Now, here's where there's a tricky part. Okay, the reason that I'm referring to people who have group insurance and they're going to keep group insurance past 65. What we normally do is we ask those clients, give us a phone call, let us actually do a comparison. More often than not, when we do a comparison of your group insurance next to a Medicare, original Medicare with a Medicare supplement and a drug plan, when we look at the two, you end up saving more money and getting better coverage when you go with original Medicare, a supplement, and a drug plan versus staying on your group plan. A few things that we're going to look at are, what do you pay on a monthly basis? What's being drafted out of your paycheck to pay for your health insurance? Are you paying for you and a spouse? We're going to look at what your co-payments are when you go to a doctor, what your deductible would be, and if you have a maximum out of pocket that you're kind of limited to, so that you know where you're capped off in terms of how much you have to pay. So when we do comparisons, we look at those two and compare it to original Medicare with a supplement. And more often than not, a supplement is cheaper and better coverage. And so most people will make that election. But a lot of people who are turning 65 and who have group insurance, they automatically, put off the idea of looking at the Medicare and a Medicare supplement as an option because they feel like, hey, I'm taken care of. I'm going to still be working. I have group insurance. And as a result, most people will actually just forego looking at the comparison. So the reason I want to bring this up specifically is because this is something that happened recently, and I think that it's important. The more you know, the more educated you are, the better choices you can make. So the Medicare, the government has set up kind of like a little graph, a little chart that talks about, okay, if somebody who's turning 65 decides to sign up for Medicare in this month, in this specific month, then the effective date of their Medicare can be X. And I'll give you some examples. So let's say that somebody turned 65 in last November. Okay, so it's 2 months ago. Somebody turned 65 and they're on group insurance. So Part A started, they have Part A, but they decided not to get Part B because they have group insurance. All right. And they said, because I have group, I don't have to worry about the other coverage. If Part A doesn't cost me anything, then no worries, I can start, but I'm not going to have to worry about anything else. So they unfortunately get let go this month. We're in January. Okay. So they turned 65 November. So IEP, they're already in the IEP, which is the 3 months before, the month of, and 3 months after to sign up for Medicare. And they lose their job this month. So they thought in their minds, hey, I have secure coverage. I have group coverage. I'm going to be working, so I don't need to get Medicare Part A and B. Okay. Now, the unfortunate thing that happened is that this person was let go in the middle of their IEP. And according to Medicare, according to the government, IEP trumps everything else. Because normally what would happen is if somebody involuntarily loses their group coverage because they were let go, then we would get a special election period. We would get a special election to be able to put that client into an insurance plan and make sure they're covered by the time that their other plan ends. But in this situation, because they weren't planning for this, but they lost their group insurance in the middle of their IEP, the IEP rules will trump our ability to get them a special election and put them into coverage right away. And what does that mean? So here's the chart and how it works. Normally, if you sign up for Medicare Part A and Part B the month that you turn 65, your effective date will be the first of the following month. So had this person signed up in November when they turned 65, their effective date would have been December 1st for Part A and Part B. Okay. If the chart says if the month after is when they sign up for Medicare Part A and B, okay? So let's just say hypothetically in December they signed up for Medicare Part A and B, then their effective date wouldn't be until 2 months after, which would make it, if they signed up in December, their effective date wouldn't be until February 1st. If they wait 2 months later, which is kind of where we're at right now, we're in January. So if you sign up in January, if you signed up 2 months after you turn 65, then your effective date can't be until 3 months later. So that's not February 1st, not March 1st, April 1st would be the effective date. So let's look at this situation. That means this person didn't know that they were going to get let go, but they got let go. They lost their group insurance. And as a result, February 1st, they will only have Medicare Part A, and they won't be able to get Medicare Part B until April 1st. So they're going to be 2 months left exposed. And Part B coverage is what's good for, it's used for the outpatient, doctors, specialists, lab work. So it's the one that you probably would use more frequently. And so you wouldn't get to have that into effect until April 1st in this situation. Now, had they gotten let go in February, okay, just to take it one step further, so if you're signing up for Medicare 3 months after you turn 65, then you can't have your effective date start until 3 months later from that date. So that means if you're signing up in February, you wouldn't be able to have, it would be March, April, May 1st. May 1st would be your effective date for Medicare Part B. So again, this isn't necessarily a situation that happens all the time, but because it was a weird situation that happened, I always like to bring that to the forefront and let our clients know and let those who are watching this and who are looking at possibly turning 65 and foregoing looking at the comparison between original Medicare with the supplement and their group plan, be aware of this, because it's really, it's heart-wrenching to see that there's nothing we could do in this situation, but it's just, this is the way it plays out, because the IEP that Medicare has set up trumps everything else. That's what they're told to do at Medicare. And so when we talk with advisors there, that's what they're told that we need to tell our clients. So unfortunately for this person, they're going to go 2 months without Medicare Part B. Obviously, we want to hope that nothing happens in those 2 months, that they don't have to go to a doctor or specialist or outpatient facility or lab work or anything like that. It's a cruddy way to have to deal with this. But if you know this ahead of time, again, turning 65 and you have group insurance, do a comparison still. Give us a call, 877-317-2259. And if you give us a call, we can always do a comparison with you. And we can say, listen, let's look at what you pay now, what your co-payments, your deductibles, your co-insurance are, and then let's compare it to what supplement with original Medicare and a drug plan would look like. And more often than not, the Medicare option is a cheaper, more comprehensive coverage than your group plan. Yes, that's the way it's trending. There was a time when group insurance was actually very solid coverage, but with all the changes and throughout the years, with all the changes that are happening, you would see that the premiums have been going up, the deductibles are going higher, the co-insurance, co-payments, everything is going up. And so as a result, nowadays, more often than not, the supplement with original Medicare and a drug plan become a better cost option. So that's what I wanted to just bring to you guys today. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what the options are, giving us a call so that we can do a comparison. That way you have peace of mind that if for some reason it's not a better option, having original Medicare and a supplement right now, if your group plan is a lower cost, more comprehensive option, you have that peace of mind. Okay, but be aware that if for any reason you get let go during your IEP, you're going to fall into this chart of rules that they have that I just kind of went over throughout this video. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, guys. Hope it was helpful. And thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next video.